Hey friends, I want to thank our sponsor, Raygun. Are you struggling to replicate the bugs and performance issues that your customers are reporting? Plug Raygun into your web and mobile applications right now and diagnose problems in minutes rather than hours. Kiss goodbye having to dig through log files and relying on frustrated users to report issues. Make your software development life so much easier using Raygun's error, crash, and performance monitoring tools. Every software team can create flawless software experiences for their customers with Raygun. Try it free today at raygun.com. That's RAYGUN.com.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, you're the first person in the history of Hansel Minutes to open the show before I said, "Hi, this is Scott Hanselman. This is another episode of Hansel Minutes. Today I'm talking with Cassidy Williams." But you said instead, "Hello."
I did, and that was mostly because I wasn't sure if you wanted me to or not.
But now I think it will become the official opening
Just hello.
of the show. Hello. How are you? Because when we got on the recording system here, we use Zencaster for recording, you immediately switched from "Hi, how's it going?" "Hello." And you went for your NPR, your National Public Radio voice, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got to be ready to context switch. It's both in technical and in recording situations.
You do that very well. I am a huge fan of yours from the internet. People can check you out at Cassidy, Cassidoo. Do you make TikToks, but you do them for the Twitter? These are hilarious. They're killing me.
Oh, thank you. This is where I'm going to switch away from the NPR voice. It's definitely something where I just wanted to find a video editor that did like quick takes, and then I discovered TikTok's video editor was good. And then I posted this video last year, July or something, and then it got a lot more popular than I expected. I was just like making fun of the 10x engineer thing. And and then I was just like, oh, people like that. That's fun. And if you were to really deeply stalk me on the internet, I've been making videos for a long time, but none of them just got popular, and a lot of them were just kind of stupid. Like I would make music videos with my younger cousins and stuff, which was a blast. But I kind of just stopped making videos one day because I was just like, it's a pain to upload to YouTube. I don't want to deal with going into the video editor again and cutting all the frames together. And then with TikTok, it's very easy to just make a video and post it, and it's done. And so as a result, I've kind of returned back to my like middle school, high school love of playing with making videos on the internet, only now they're a little bit more specific because it's tech stuff and people seem to like them.
Is TikTok the new Vine?
I don't know.
Different though. It feels culturally different, but it's still tweet-sized videos.
It's still tweet-sized videos, and it's interesting because like when someone makes a TikTok that is very Viney, like all the comments will be just like, "Ooh, the Vine energy here." Like there is a specific different vibe when it comes to Vines versus TikToks. To define that, I don't know how. Just, I guess, the weirdness level.
You know, someone out there is doing a PhD thesis to do a machine learning algorithm right now on how like the slider bar of Vine to TikTok, and then you upload a video, and then like it puts a slider bar and it goes, yes, this is 45% Vine because of tempo or because of quick cuts or because of length, and then someone's doing that.
Someone's bound to be, and I would totally believe it.
I would support that, absolutely. When you put stuff on the internet, how much do you like overthink it? Like sometimes I get analysis paralysis. You know how when someone texts you and it's like ... they're typing, and then they stop.
Yeah, and you're just
did you just like delete that, or
what's happening? Yeah.
How much do you think about, and how much do you just like I don't swear on this show, so we'll say, how much do you shoot post on Twitter without actually thinking about it?
It kind of varies. I would say probably the more successful my video is in terms of metrics, like likes and all that crap, the more successful it is, the less I thought about it. I truly, sometimes it's just like, oh, this song would be good. Oh, I'll just make one really fast. And then sometimes it's an idea I noodle on for a very long time, and then it's just kind of people like, ah, good job, Cassidy. So, I mean, I don't necessarily do it for other people at all. I kind of just do it because I like telling jokes, and I know that uh, at least a few people will get a kick out of it, and then the rest follows, and it's kind of fun.
Isn't that important though? Like they always say like dance like no one is watching. Like you should tweet like no one is listening.
Yeah, I mean, with certain uh, with certain cultural rules in place, I'm sure.
Indeed, indeed. Well, which actually kind of makes me think about this. Like, you're a person of a certain generation. You are, with no disrespect, not the youngest TikToker.
It is very true. There was one time, here's something painful for you. There was one
Okay.
time where I saw a TikTok and it said, "Hey, if you were born before 2004, keep scrolling."
Oh
It hurt
my!
my heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keep okay. Hmm?
It was just like don't bother watching my video if you were born before 2004.
Oy vey.
Yeah. So anyway, that made me reflect deeply and I just kind of closed the app and went
Well, yeah,
on
and
with
then
my
but
day.
then you, yeah, I guess but you still put the content out there. Like, do you think that things have changed? Because I put content out on the internet 20 years ago, and on CompuServe and gosh, Prodigy and VitoNet, like without fear. But now that everyone's on the internet, I wonder. Like you've got some TikToks and some videos here with like 40,000 likes. Like I don't even know what that feels like. Like I have a Beyonce tweet that I pinned that I think deserves like an award, and it's really good. It's my best tweet ever, right? With this, I didn't even do it. My kid did it. My 7-year-old, legitimately asked me if Beyonce was Marvel or DC,
That's so funny.
and I think that should be like a 500,000 like tweet. It's got like 7,000. You've got your when non-tech people ask me to describe my job, is it like 40,000? Does your phone just melt at that point? And then is there any negativity that comes from
Oh,
that
there's
makes you not want to like do videos again?
oh yeah, I mean there's plenty of negativity whenever, a female is on the internet doing something.
Mm,
But yeah, like I really enjoy making them, and a lot of times it's me making a joke that is kind of as niche as possible, and I'm just like, I wonder how many people will get this joke. Like there was one video that I did that was not as popular, but I thought it was the most hilarious thing where I was describing use effect and react,
mm,
and I lip synced some lyrics from the musical Dreamgirls, and the main character in Dreamgirls, her name is Effie, and I was just
mm-hmm,
like, "It's not use effect, it's use Effie." Ah, ha, ha. And there were so many layers to that joke that I thought was stupendous, and yet
mm.
it was probably a little too specific in both the worlds of musicals and tech, and not even just tech, specifically React web development. That it happens, but there are definitely videos that I've made where, for example, I did one where it was just about dudes interrupting me in meetings, and the DMs and the replies I got of being a man hater and just being an SJW, etc., etc. Those are annoying. Those won't stop me from posting, but they're definitely annoying.
Yeah, I want to be able to just say funny things and not, but you don't always hit it though, right? Like, I mean, you miss all the shots you don't take, but you don't necessarily hit every joke, right? Some of them, they just don't land and you don't know why. Like, why isn't this hilarious?
Yeah, there are definitely some jokes that I have said in the past because, not to toot my own horn, I've always been funny, but I used to make I still make jokes kind of constantly, and whether people like them or not, I think they're funny. But I used to make them a bunch in the past, and because I just didn't have a following of some kind, they got a few like ha-has, and that was it. And I was content with that.
Hmm.
And uh now I kind of think back sometimes, I'm just like, man, if I tweeted that joke today, it would be a smash hit. What is this? And
Timing.
timing, yeah. I've talked to some people about this recently because I'm not one that tries to go for the followers. Like I just like
Sure.
they're nice. They're a cherry on top, but it's not something that I like try to aim for.
Right.
Um, and they're also kind of new to me too. Like when I did start making videos, the follower count on Twitter it jumped like 40,000 in less than 2 weeks. And
Oy.
then it just kept accelerating from there. And it was something that I did not expect. And suddenly I was like, ooh, not that I ever said anything particularly bad. I was just like, I have to be aware of how I word things because there are a lot of people now who might see it. And again, it's not like I was saying anything particularly controversial at all. It was just like, I probably should cut back on the poop jokes.
So I'm also like a somewhat highly placed Microsoft person now. Like I have like a job with a title and like, you have principal in front of your job.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an email once from someone internally that was like, why do you keep naming your variables poo? Because it was like var poo equal. And they're like, it's unprofessional. I'm like, yeah, but it's never not funny though.
Poop
and then
is
it's like,
always funny.
Poop is always funny and no one appreciates that. So it's like, well, at what point will I just become like old person who uses poo for their variable names? It's better than foo and bar.
Yeah. I'd rather do poo and bar.
Poo and bar.
So one thing that some of my cousins and I have been doing in the quarantine is we got this app for our phones called Poop Map.
Oh, Lord.
And all it is just whenever you poop, you log it, and it places a little pin on the map, and then you can like rate your poop and add a little comment description.
Oh,
it's so stupid, and honestly, the app is very crappy, pun intended. But it's so fun because it's a little way that just my cousins and I can kind of stay in touch because we're just like, oh, you had broccoli, cool. And it's so stupid, but it's hilarious.
It's like a 5-star app.
It's poop. Yeah, it's great. It's so funny, and I love that it exists because it's so dumb, and it's just top.
And then other people can like your poo, and then there's like an actual. Oh my goodness, there is
different leagues of poop.
There's a leaderboard.
Yeah, there's a leaderboard. I'm proud to say I'm number one. But we depending on your frequency of poops and stuff, it'll rank you, and you can join different leagues of pooping. It's again, it's so stupid, and it's not the best built app in the world, but it's hilarious, and it's a way of bonding in quarantine.
As people who have made it 11 minutes into this podcast are wondering what this is and why we're talking about it, there's the enjoyment that one gets from the internet, the sense of belonging, the sense of connection. Like someone might be listening from another country, another culture, or you just might be a square and not funny, and you may not think Poop Map is hilarious, and I think it is hilarious, and I've already downloaded it and sent it to my entire family.
Nice.
But I have found a cultural difference, and I'm not saying this culturally like from a language or country of origin perspective, but my non-technical wife, she's a nurse, does not feel that my online relationships are as real as I do. And she'll say, oh, you talked to your cousin Jack. And I'm like, oh yeah, I talked to him like all week. And then she'll dig into it. And it turns out like I've been liking his stuff on Facebook. And I'm like, well, yeah, like I feel close to him. He says a thing. And I'm like, mm-hmm. Because it's the linguistic back channel. A like, it's the internet remote equivalent of going, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's ACK.
It's ACK. Yeah, I couldn't explain ACK though. It's like, yeah, that's the thing. But that's perfect. It's exactly. Yeah. But do you ever have anyone question your internet friendships and how you interact with people remotely?
I've definitely had to explain them to my parents because they're just like, why are you talking? What do you mean you're talking to a stranger on the internet you've never met? And I'm just like, oh no, they've been my internet friend for like 8 years. We met on turntable.fm chatting over mashups. Like they don't understand the concept that I have a random friend who I met over Discord, and he's based in Hungary, and we sometimes mail each other snacks. Like it's a very different world for people who don't understand how powerful an internet friendship can be, and it's really great. Some people that I'm friends with on the internet through Discord, through video games, through whatever, are people who I'm closer with than some of my neighbors, even just because we talk so regularly, just sometimes in detail. Sometimes it's just like, hey, hope your day's going well. See ya. And that's the extent of our conversation for a week.
See, exactly. And there are people, I was actually just on my Animal Crossing Island. Some very important construction work I've been working on lately.
Of course.
And I talked with someone that I had hung out with at a convention like 11 years ago. Now, I'm not saying I manage every relationship that successfully, but when you meet someone cool and you're like, like when you were a kid, you would be like, will you be my friend?
Yeah.
But now we're adults, so we can't say that because that's weird. But you know that's like, we will be friends, which you also can't say.
Yeah, there are some people where after talking with them, I'm just like, that is a person I'll be friends with. Like, well, one of my closest friends now, which I'm excited because she lives in Seattle now where I am, and so we get to interact a little bit more. But I remember within a few sentences of meeting her, I was just like, okay, we vibe. This is great. She's going to be a friend. And so we've been friends for like 5 years now.
I met this person like 11 years ago, and then like they were hanging out my island, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Danielle from such and such a conference is on my island. We're like digging for fossils." She's like, "That is the weirdest thing ever." Like, well, yeah, we share pictures, and she sends me pictures of her kids sometimes. Like, it's like cool. Yeah. When did you see her last? Oh yeah, like the early aughts of the century. Like, I don't know. Like, I want people to be happy and successful, and I want them to be healthy, and I want to like pictures of their families.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird time with social media right now. Like, I personally don't really post much on Facebook anymore, mostly because a lot of people I know have left Facebook. But it's still finding those little nooks and crannies in the internet where you can just interact with people that are fun it's great. And I kind of miss the, I guess, good old days of something like early Facebook, early Instagram, early Twitter and stuff, where it felt like it was just kind of this like tight knit little club where you're talking with the people who are your friends and new friends, and you just add people all the time and you talk with them all the time. And now it feels like a different vibe now. People aren't posting as much as they used to unless they are just like shooting the breeze or they're trying to be an influencer or something. And you kind of have to. It has led to my mostly interacting with people one-on-one or in smaller group chats or in like Discord servers that are smaller and stuff. And that's how I've been kind of getting internet social yayas out through those kinds of mediums.
When you need to focus on building, do you want to get bogged down by your database? MongoDB is an intuitive, flexible document database that lets you get to building. MongoDB's document model is a natural way to represent data so you can focus on what matters. MongoDB Atlas is the best way to use MongoDB. It's a global cloud database service that gives you all of the developer productivity of MongoDB, plus the added simplicity of a fully managed database service. You can get started free with MongoDB Atlas at mongodb.com/atlas. I've noticed that my 12-year-old plays Fortnite a lot, and I thought to myself, man, this kid plays too much Fortnite. And then I started watching and listening and paying attention, and since we're all in this kind of weird quarantine place right now, I don't think he's actually playing Fortnite. I think he has like a daily stand-up with his friends, and then there's also like unicorns and rocket ships and things running around. Like it's a conference call with a bunch of kids while they're all screaming, "Res me!"
Yeah, that's very accurate. Like, I play Fortnite a lot with friends, but also sometimes with like coworkers' children. I really enjoy playing it, and it's interesting to play with people my age where we are actually trying to win. We're actually trying to play. We're actively playing, and then when I play with kids, it's a very different game for them because they're having a good time. They're like shooting each other and dancing in front of each other. They don't care that enemies are coming. They're just like, okay, let's play the next one. And it's a very chaotic way to play, but it's fascinating because you're right. It's like a friendship stand up. It's a hangout, but Fortnite happens to be in front of them.
Here's something that is going to make you smile ear to ear. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So I don't usually multitask when I'm recording a podcast, but Poop Map was too amazing to not share.
OMG.
So I pinned it. It's the only app on my first screen now. I screenshotted it. I tweeted. This is why I talked to Cassidy for the difficult, for the app recommendations in difficult times. This was 4 minutes ago. 3 minutes later, the dev for Poop Map in Croatia just sent me, "This is amazing. This is my app. I love you, Scott."
That's
Total coincidence.
awesome.
I didn't even say poop map. He didn't like ego search for it. He just happened to be up at 10 o'clock at night in Croatia, saw the tweet, and is losing his mind.
That is so fun. Oh my gosh. I want to meet the man. If I can't shake his hand, both quarantine and he's around the world.
Nino has you're on the thread now, and he is flipping out. What an
That app
exciting.
has like kept my family going throughout.
You have to tell him that because it needs to go in the I don't know, the about box, something.
That is awesome.
So this is the thing, right? Whatever it takes to hang out with people, to feel connection, right? Someone said something interesting about the pandemic. Like, do you think if it had happened 5 years ago or even last year, that the internet would have been ready for us to try to have an emotional and a human connection with people? You know what I mean? Like, did we have the tools? Would we would we have been on MySpace? Like, where would we have gone to feel connected to people?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so as much as I dislike social media and I wonder what the next Twitter is and what the next Facebook is, because I remember what they were before,
Right.
I don't know if this is if we reached the pinnacle of how to stay in contact with people.
One thing that I kind of miss, and they're kind of coming back in a way, and so I'm observing from a distance, but I kind of miss just forums from the early days. Like before Facebook came out and stuff, I made this forum with my friends. I just like used a template and just pretty much everybody in my middle school class, we would hang out on this forum and chat. And sometimes the threads were dumb, but we would spend hours just jumping between conversations, talking about different things. We didn't even have chat rooms or anything because that wasn't as much of a thing on websites at that point. And it was great. And it was such a good way to keep conversations going. And I've kind of tried to duplicate that again with Discord, sometimes with friendship Slack groups and stuff. And you see forums popping up. There's some great mechanical keyboards ones, for example, that I'm in called Geek Hack, and there's even like indie hackers and stuff. There's forums out there for different interests, and I kind of miss that vibe of the internet again, where it's like relative anonymity, but you're still talking with people who you can become friends
Right.
with.
It was Reddit without people just taking their anonymity and being mean.
Right. Yeah. It was pre-mean internet.
Yeah. I want to get back to pre-mean internet. And I think that a highly curated Twitter feed with a lot of muting and very aggressive blocking can be that, but it's still not quite there. I guess they just added a thing in Twitter. They're testing it out where you can start a conversation with a bunch of people and then just not have other people jump in.
Right. I saw that. A friend of mine did that recently where she said only mentioned people can reply to the thread. And it was interesting because you're just an observer at that point. And I'll be curious to see how that feature takes off.
Have one of the things that I love is watching famous people that I think I'm friends with, and I'm not really friends with them, like set up meetings and stuff on Twitter. You know what I mean? You see this kind of like B-level actor from that show and that kind of like random, person that you saw in that thing on that episode of Law and Order. And they're like, oh yeah, we should hang out, like whatever. I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching my favorite people. Like I like watching shows and then I don't I don't follow the lead. I follow the friend, right? Like the third person on the show, because they're a working actor and they're like a real human, and they really like if you tell them, like I watch a show and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great.
They like reply.
It's so fun. I did that. When was it? So did you watch Parks and Rec?
Oh yeah.
Shauna Malwae Tweep retweeted me once. I know.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
It was very exciting. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's Shauna, but that's not her real name. But that's so cool.
Oh my goodness. See, that kind of stuff is so cool. So true story. I watched Altered Carbon. Did you see that?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's so good. So Altered Carbon, it's like this amazing future universe where you basically back your brain up on a USB key. And in the show, there's a fella who plays the AI who's like friends with the main character, and he's the heart and the soul of the thing. And he's a stage actor, and he's got presence, and he's just amazing. He just chews up the stage. He just is the best, gushing. So I pause. You've done this. You're watching a show. Oh my goodness! Pause the show. Go to IMDb. Who is that?
Yeah.
Go on Twitter. Follow them. You're amazing. I hope you have success in life. He lives in Portland. We like went to Chipotle. We like hung out. Like,
No
this is my
way.
buddy now. Like, Chris is amazing. And we like did a podcast, and like, I think the world of this fella. And now we like send Bitmoji to each other on iMessage.
That's so fun.
Internet, like, people are just trying to make art and do a good job and have fun. And if you're kind and non-creepy to them, like, things will work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. Wow,
Um,
that's so fun.
How are you coping during the remote work thing? You've been working remote for a while now. Like, do you have like Slack, Teams, Skype, Zoom meetings? How do you keep connected to people?
Yeah, so I will say, remote work is not quarantine work. So it's still weird, even though I've been remote working for a while, and I'm sure you agree. What one thing that I've been doing with friends and some family is we do what we call stretch and share, and it's something that I did at previous companies when I worked in person, where just every day at 2 p.m. or whatever, we would go to a conference room and we'd stretch and share. And so we'd go around the circle. People would say like what they're working on that day, or what's up with them. And they would pick a stretch for us all to do, like stretch your arms or whatever. And everyone would do the stretch while they share. And I was talking with a friend of mine who used to work with me at one of these companies, and she was just like, we should bring that back. And we did. And now every single weekday at 3 p.m., we do a stretch and share. And we get on a video call, and we kind of invite people as they want. And not everybody comes every day, but it's great. We'll do a stretch and share, and we mostly are just like, well, today was mostly the same because quarantine, but I got a new office chair, that kind of stuff. And it's been really great to stay in touch with friends who I honestly wouldn't have stayed in touch with as much if we weren't in quarantine. There are some people who some friends who live in San Francisco who I genuinely just don't talk to as often. And now I talk to them almost every single day because we talk on stretch and share and want that human interaction.
Wow. See, that stuff is important, but it's also the lizard brain knows that you're not really in a room with other humans. And sometimes I get headaches after many hours on video calls. So it's like I feel simultaneously connected, but also drained because I'm sitting here alone in my room talking to myself with 25 of my closest friends.
Yeah, I taught a workshop yesterday, and it was very fun. I've taught workshops many times before, but this one was particularly weird because nobody was sharing their video or anything with me. Like I would see like a little chat on the side, but besides that, it was just me talking at my screen for 4 hours straight. And it is weird, and it's exhausting because you're not getting that eye contact. You're not getting that kind of feedback that normally get when talking with humans.
Yeah, you need. There's not just the linguistic back channel that we talked about, the ACK. There's the full body sense of space that they occupy. There's the body language. All of those things add up to being connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like being connected to people, and things like this stretch and share and stuff. It's something that kind of helps get through the day when quarantine is rough. It's something that is necessary. But I do really miss interacting with people, and I am more of an introverted person, so I do prefer not being at large parties or anything. But man, I could go for some hugs from friends who I haven't seen in a long time.
I think we could all do for a warm handshake of something right now.
Yeah, I want to play board games. Like we've been playing Tabletop Simulator, but it's not the same as just like flipping the table for real and just being there in person with people. And so we luckily, because of where we are with the internet, there's a lot of options for us. There's a lot of things that keep popping up that do help you kind of stay bonded with people, which is good. But hopefully this quarantine ends soon. It'll be really nice to be around people again.
Yeah, it really would. Like, I respect what my wife is saying when she's like, you're not really connected to those people. It is a combination. Like, we connect to those that we can, who either can't make it out or we can't make it out like we are right now. But it is nice to connect to humans. I appreciate the way that you humanize technologists with your fun videos. I know that they might just be silly things that you put out there as a way of venting, but it's one of those kind of, it's funny because it's true. You know what I mean? Like, everything that you do on your videos and on your Twitter is very much of like, that is such a thing. We do that as tech people.
Yeah, that's kind of why I do it. It's kind of a subtweet at myself whenever I make those, because a lot of those situations I'm just like, well, this happens to me, and that means it probably happens to others. And yeah, I'm glad that you say so, and I do appreciate all the people who do enjoy them, because it feels like we're bonding a little bit out there in this internet-driven world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Cassidy Williams, for chatting with me today. I appreciate you. And you can follow Cassidy on Twitter at Cassidoo, Cassidoo, and enjoy. Yeah. And then I think you're on TikTok also, but I think mostly on Twitter, right?
Yeah, mostly on Twitter. Cassidoo is my username for everything, GitHub, CodePen, and stuff, except for Instagram, because a teenager took it and she won't give it to me.
I could have been like twitter.com/Scott, but I missed it by like a month. It was ridiculous. And now that guy won't give it to me. So now I'm Shanselman, which means everyone calls me Shane. It's like, hey, Shane. Like, no, it's Shanselman.
Oh, I didn't think that. That's pretty
it's a thing. Cool. All right. This has been another episode of Hansel Minutes, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
That's the ending now of all official Hansel Minutes. I'm just throwing that out there.